Have you ever heard of a sword so sharp, so powerful, that it could drive its wielder to madness? A blade that didn't just cut, but thirsted for blood. Today, we're diving into the dark and fascinating world of Muramasa, the legendary Japanese swordsmith whose creations were said to be cursed. This isn't just a story about steel and skill. It's a tale of whispers, betrayal, and a legacy so feared that rulers tried to wipe it from history. Let's travel back to the Muromachi period of Japan, a time of constant conflict and civil war. In this chaotic era, the sword was more than a weapon. It was the soul of the samurai. And among the countless swordsmiths forging these deadly works of art, one name stood out, not just for its brilliance, but for its terrifying reputation: Muramasa. Muramasa wasn't just any swordsmith. He was a master craftsman from Ayase province, and his school of smithing produced some of the most exceptionally sharp blades the world had ever seen. The hammer, or the temper line on the blade, was a signature of his work often, a wild, undulating pattern that looked like waves crashing on a shore. It was beautiful, but it was a beauty that promised violence. Unlike the works of his contemporary, the revered swordsmith Masamune, whose blades were said to represent peace and control, Muramasa's swords gained a very different reputation. They were known for being brutally, almost unnaturally, effective in combat. Legends say a Muramasa blade could slice through anything with horrifying ease. But this incredible sharpness came at a price. A dark legend began to form around these weapons. It was said that a Muramasa sword had a will of its own. It possessed a Waiki, a demonic or evil energy. Samurai who carried these blades would report strange occurrences. The sword would seem to whisper to them, to sing a song of battle that only they could hear. This wasn't a comforting hum. It was a siren's call to violence. The longer a warrior possessed a Muramasa, the more they felt an uncontrollable urge to draw it. The stories became more and more sinister. A samurai might be walking through a market, and suddenly the sword would practically leap from its scabbard, demanding to taste blood. Some tales claim that if a Muramasa blade wasn't satisfied with the blood of an enemy, it would turn on its owner, forcing them to take their own life. It was as if the sword itself was a living entity, a bloodthirsty demon trapped in steel. Imagine the psychological torment. You are a disciplined warrior, a samurai bound by the code of Bushido, yet you carry a weapon that constantly tempts you toward chaos and destruction. You'd feel your own self-control slipping away, replaced by a primal rage that wasn't your own. It's a terrifying thought, isn't it? The very tool meant to protect you and your honor becomes the source of your potential downfall. This dark reputation wasn't just battlefield gossip. It became deeply intertwined with one of the most powerful families in Japanese history, the Tokugawa clan. The story of the Tokugawa curse on Muramasa blades is what truly cemented their infamous legacy. It all started with Tokugawa Ieyasu's grandfather, Matsuda Kiyoyasu. He was tragically cut down by one of his own retainers, who was wielding, you guessed it, a Muramasa sword. This was just the beginning of the family's misfortune. Later, Ieyasu's own father, Matsuda Hirotada, was also killed by a retainer brandishing a Muramasa blade. The pattern of violence and betrayal linked to these swords was becoming undeniable. The curse seemed to follow the Tokugawa bloodline. Even Tokugawa Ieyasu himself had personal, painful encounters with these blades. As a young boy, he accidentally cut himself with a Muramasa tanto, a short dagger. Though it was a minor incident, the blade's incredible sharpness left a lasting impression. But the most significant event was yet to come. After the pivotal battle of Sekigahara, which solidified his power, Ieyasu was inspecting the captured weapons. He came across a spear that had pierced one of his most loyal generals. Admiring its craftsmanship, he remarked on its fine quality, only to be told it was made by Muramasa. As he examined the spearhead, he fumbled, and the blade sliced his hand. The same hand he had cut as a child. For Ieyasu, this was the final straw. It was too much to be a coincidence. He saw the blades not as mere weapons, but as cursed objects, specifically hostile to his family. He declared them inauspicious and enacted a nationwide ban. Owning a Muramasa sword became a crime. He ordered all existing Muramasa blades to be found and destroyed. This decree sent shockwaves through the samurai class. Imagine having to give up what might be your most prized and effective weapon. Many samurai, however, were too afraid to defy the new shogun. Blades were melted down, their signatures were altered, and their histories were erased. The great purge of Muramasa had begun, but you can't completely erase a legend. Many samurai, unwilling to part with their superior blades, chose to defy the ban in secret. They would grind off the Muramasa signature from the tang of the sword, the part hidden beneath the hilt, or they'd have a different smith's name engraved over it. These hidden blades, known as surakomi, became symbols of defiance, forbidden treasures passed down through generations. This act of hiding and altering the swords only added to their mystique. A Muramasa blade was now not just a cursed weapon, but a piece of forbidden power. Owning one was a dangerous secret, a connection to a violent and rebellious past that the ruling government wanted to forget. So, what's the truth behind the legend? Was Muramasa a deranged, bloodthirsty smith who poured his own violent spirit into his work? Or is there a more logical explanation? Most historians believe the curse was more a product of the times than of any supernatural force. Muramasa's school was located in a region that often opposed the Tokugawa clan. Therefore, many anti-Tokugawa samurai would have naturally carried swords made by their local, highly skilled smith. When these warriors fought and sometimes betrayed the Tokugawa, the sword they carried, the Muramasa became guilty by association. Furthermore, Muramasa's blades were just that good. Their extreme sharpness meant that accidents were more likely. A clumsy draw or a moment of carelessness with a Muramasa could lead to a serious injury, far more so than with a lesser blade. These incidents would have fueled the rumors of the sword's aggressive nature. Think of it like a high-performance race car. It's faster and more responsive, but it's also less forgiving of mistakes. In the hands of a skilled driver, it's a champion, but for a novice, it can be incredibly dangerous. The Muramasa sword was the supercar of its day, and its reputation for being uncontrollable might simply have been a reflection of its incredible, unforgiving quality. The story of Muramasa and Masamune also plays a crucial role. Masamune's blades were seen as defensive, calm, and virtuous. Muramasa's were offensive, aggressive, and bloodthirsty. This duality makes for a great story, a classic tale of light versus dark, good versus evil, captured in forged steel. It's a powerful metaphor that resonates even today. Whether cursed or simply a victim of political propaganda, the legend of the Muramasa sword endures. These blades are more than just historical artifacts. They are symbols of forbidden power, of a beauty so profound it borders on terrifying. They represent the dark side of the samurai spirit, the untamed, violent potential that lies beneath the surface of discipline and honor. Today, genuine Muramasa blades are incredibly rare and valuable, sought after by collectors around the world. Each one carries the weight of its bloody history, real or imagined. To hold one is to feel a connection to this incredible legend. To wonder if you can hear the faint metallic whisper that drove warriors to madness centuries ago. The story of Muramasa reminds us that sometimes the most beautiful things can also be the most dangerous. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the dark heart of samurai legends. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into history's most fascinating mysteries. See you next time.